Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. And as always, a new month means a new Gunpla schedule. On the 11th, we are getting the full mechanics 1/100 scale Forbidden Gundam for 6,380 yen, 45 US, and that is all. So, the biggest news for this week then was that Suletta and Miorine are apparently maybe not married. It is all up for your interpretation and whole debacle surrounding it. I wanted to tackle it in Gundam News, but I decided that I'm gonna do a dedicated video on it like tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, because I mean there is quite some stuff to cover with that when you start considering all the nuances involved in it. Instead, we're going to look at the good witch from Mercury news that I saw while editing this video. The Demi Garrison is finally getting its high-grade model, and I think I speak for everyone that this thing is looking way better than expected. Not only does it look more badass than it did in the anime or the line art, but it also comes with significantly more weapons. It comes with a standard short beam rifle, longer beam rifle, very long beam rifle, a bazooka, 2 beam sabers, confirming that those beam saber-esque things on the backpack were in fact beam sabers, which can also be replaced by missile launchers. And then finally, beam Vulcan guns for the arms, that also come with extra energy packs that can be mounted on the arms. And what I find very interesting here is that in my Demi Trainer development history, I mentioned that these hand replacement thingamabobs were described as missile launchers, but in the anime, they instead acted as beam weaponry with even a green beam flash showing when fired. So either the earlier missile launcher description was a mistake, an understandable mistake at that, by the way, because these things were definitely totally inspired by the Bob missile launchers of the gun tank, or we have a similar situation as the Tall Geese's Dober gun, where we have both a ballistic and a beam version of a weapon that look identical. For now though, it is completely up to your interpretation. What's less cool though is that it's a premium Bandai. Why? The only good thing here is that it does come with included water slide decals, because that is literally the only premium thing about premium Bandai model kits. Pre-orders started today on the Japanese version, and it can be yours in December for 2,420 yen or 18 US. On to the rest of the Gunpla news then. On the 19th of August, we are getting this very funky looking Ecopla entry grade recirculation color / neon blue RX-78 Gundam. It'll set you back 1,100 yen, around 8 US. It is made out of recycled plastic and will be available at the Gundam base and at the Supersonic 2023 festival. Limited to Korea's Gundam base then is the Master Grade GBK Korea Gundam Astray, the Gundam Base Korea 20th Anniversary Memorial Edition. It'll be releasing on the 24th of August for 96,000 won, which is only 74 US, and it is an interesting looking kit bash of the Gundam Astray with the Destiny silhouette, and it even comes complete with the Wings of Light effect parts. Then going back to the Japanese Gundam base, where you can get the high-grade Gundam Narrative C-Packs Awakening Image Color version for 2,530 yen, 18 US, and the non-scale high-grade Tolero 800 Todohachi for 2,200 yen, 16 US. Which, by the way, you can also get at the Gundam Factory Yokohama. And if you want some interesting paint for your Gunpla, then on the 22nd of September, the Gundam Marker X Wings of Light Holographic Blue and the Psycho Frame Holographic Green, which will both be releasing for 660 yen each, 5 US. Somewhere in between Gunpla and figures then, pre-orders went live on Japanese Bandai for the G-Frame Full Armor Aerial Rebuild and option part set for the Calibarn. And as per usual with the premium Bandai limited G-Frames, the price is quite steep. For 5,995 yen, 42 US, you're getting the aerial rebuild with most of the features you need, a second escutcheon for the Calibarn in white, 4 active beam sabers, 2 extra beam effect parts for the Calibarn, and then an action base, 12 support arms for the gun bits, and a piece of soda flavored chewing gum to really justify that price. So yeah, basically it is just a very well featured Gundam aerial rebuild with some Calibarn parts thrown in there. On the figure front then, the biggest news comes from China with a very impressive new Gundam and, well, new Gundam versus Sazabi statue. It'll be releasing in spring of next year, and for 2,899 yuan, around 404 US, you're getting a statue that is just bursting with dynamism. It really feels like they captured a moment in time of the epic battle between the new Gundam and the Sazabi. The only downside is that it is, of course, limited to China's Bandai Namco flagship store. Less limited then is the material color version of the Witch from Mercury mobile suit container that went up for pre-order at general retailers on the 3rd. This is the non-weathered straight build version, which therefore only goes for 8,580 yen, 60 US, and will be releasing in late December. And I will of course have that linked down below. And what I'll also have linked down below are the restocks of 3 very impressive figures. There's a very summery Sailor Mass and a standard Aina Sahalin from the Gundam Girls Generation line, and the Raw Kylum RE from the Cosmo Fleet Special line. Over at P Bandai, Volks, and Yellow Submarine then, the massive Archangel Catapult deck is getting a restock, as well as the full-scale Works Char Aznavour's Stahlhelm, which can actually be worn and is the definitive cosplay accessory for those who want a Char Aznavour cosplay that is 3 times more authentic than the regular Char cosplay. Of course, at 27,500 yen, 194 US, it'll probably also make your cosplay 3 times as expensive, but, you know, sometimes you just gotta go for it. But it wasn't all expensive on the figure front either, because Mega House made a very interesting decision with their Gundam Military Generation line, a line that recently I haven't been super impressed by. They must have seen the reviews complaining about the paint inaccuracies and the quality control issues, and then just said, you know what, how about you do it? Why don't you do the paint work? And so they decided to introduce the Gundam Military Generation Professional line. And this first lineup features the first 3 grunts of both the Federation and Zeon, but now they're unpainted, they have extra accessories, and they go for a lower price. It's only 3,025 yen, which is around 23 US, and for that price, they now come with waterslide decals for rank badges and other customization options, and then sandbags or brick walls for the Federation and Zeon soldiers, respectively. So for the first time in a while for the Gundam Military Generation line, I only have positive things to say about this, because all around, I think this is a great idea. If you want your Federation or Zeon grunts to look perfect, you still would have needed to do painting anyways, even if you got the pre-painted versions, because some of them were passable, but some of them were really bad. So again, you'd have to paint them anyways. And now you can then get them at a significantly lower price point with more stuff. And of course, they are still regular releases, so I'll have those linked down below. Which is not something I can say about the two MSN04FF Sazabi figures for this week. The Robot Spirits version will be released on the 11th at Gundam Side F for a whopping 13,200 yen, which is around 90 US. But for that price, at least it does come with most of the stuff you would want your Sazabi to come with. Regular fin funnels, the two giant lobster claw fin funnels that can be used on the back or handheld, beam effect parts, the usual shield, beam tomahawk, two beam sabers and beam shot rifle, and a stand with parts to not only support the Sazabi, but to also support the giant lobster claw fin funnels. Over at P Bandai then, pre-orders went live for the FW Converge Core, RX-93FF New Gundam, and MSN04FF Sazabi. For 5,280 yen, which is around 40-45 US, these two deformed Side F machines can be yours in December. There's not too much going on with the Sazabi, but with the new Gundam's giant fin funnel, it can be opened up through parts forming. Or if you prefer your figures a bit more cuddly, then there were three perfect lineups for you this week. First up, from Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny, we got 4 sets that will all be releasing in December. For 8,910 yen for the whole set, 63 US, you could get Kira, Atheron, Izak, Diarca, Nickel, Shin, Rei, Destiny Kira, and Destiny Atheron as hug characters, plushies that can actually clamp onto something with their arms, Fua Kororin, which are plushies that are very rotund, let's say, or Tete Kore, which are plushies that can be like hung from each other's arm to kind of like form a nice chain. These sets will be available from regular Japanese hobby stores, but if you buy them from P Bandai, you will also get a bonus Destiny Izak thrown in there. And then for 7,722 yen, which is 55 US, you can get the Tenno Rinzu set. It's got Kira, Atheron, Alakas, Gagali, Izak, Diarca, Nickel, Shin, and Rei, but inside of a Haro sleeping bag, and just as with the rest, these are regular releases, but by getting them through Premium Bandai, you will also get a Destiny Izak. But we can go even more cute with the Witch from Mercury hoodie figure. For 3,520 yen a pop, which is around 25-30 US, you can get Suletta with an Ariel hoodie, Miorine with a hoodie that is probably based on something, but I can't immediately put my finger on it, Guel and a Daryl Balde hoodie, Shadiq and a Michaelis hoodie, and Elan and a Farrocked hoodie. And not only can you remove the hoodie, but the figures also have a ball-jointed neck for better posing, and they can also stand by themselves. So these things are both adorable and functional. The only downside is that they are limited to P Bandai, but if you do snag them there, they are slated for a January release. And if you need a guide on how to buy things from Japanese P Bandai, that is as always linked down below. And the cuteness continues with the Suletta and Miorine Chemopon plushies. The name is a portmanteau of Chemomimi Poncho, which refers to the cat-eared hoodie that they're wearing, and they also have a very nostalgic feeling about them. For 4,400 yen a pop, around 35-40 US, they can be yours in October, but unfortunately they are Premium Bandai limited, just as the next items are. And these are the famous scene acrylic stands from Suletta, Miorine, Guel, Elan, Shadiq, Nika, and Choo Choo, whose famous scenes somehow do not involve her being angry or punching someone or something. a missed opportunity for sure. But these can be yours for 1,650 yen each, 12 US in October, which is also when Japanese P Bandai is restocking a bunch of these Switch from Mercury trading items that were previously available from Animate. Meanwhile, on the gaming front then, in Gundam Battle Operation 2 for the PlayStation, the Nightingale has joined the fun, a lot of gifts are being handed out for the 5th anniversary, the Zaku head Zeta has become available through special missions, and for new or returning players, there will be special promotion rewards to get them up to speed. And then probably the biggest news is that a new video game was unveiled at China Joy 2023. Now this is a mobile game called Gundam Poetry of Steel. It promises to be a complete 3D game as opposed to the G generation games, which are like a combination of 2D and 3D elements. But being a mobile game though, these 3D models are of course somewhat limited, so more 3D isn't always necessarily more better. And in the trailer, which I will have linked down below, I also noticed that the animation isn't the smoothest. But what I mostly noticed though was how unimpressive the sound design was. A lot of the weapons they showed off just didn't sound like they did in the anime, which isn't necessarily a problem if the new sound sounds good, but here they all just sounded muted and weak. So for now, the game has only been announced in China, but it was said that it was going to be releasing first in China. So second is probably going to be Japan, and then we'll have to see where we go from there. Other features are a complex AI system, which, I mean, doesn't really say a whole lot, single player and multiplayer gaming options, mobile suits from various universes, and a story mode that will cover the most important battles of these universes. In other news then, the Witch from Mercury bookstore collaboration has gone live. Gundam and Zock Manholes were installed in Shiga Prefecture's Otsu City. A new Bandai Gachapon store has opened up in the Tsutaya store in Kamiebetsu, which is in Ebetsu City in Hokkaido. Until August 17th, the Cucuruz Doan's Island movie will be available for free from the Gundam.info YouTube channel, linked down below. And from what I can tell, it is available in almost every country available. And then this week's Mobile Suit Girl is the rear of the Zock Girl, which now also shows us how the Zaku parts are stored inside of it and on the back. Because like I said last week, the Zock Girl is actually a Zaku 2 girl, which is equipped with like the Zock amphibious parts. And then once she gets ashore, she can ditch the Zock parts and then put on her Zaku 2 parts again. On to the things you could get this week then. On Tuesday, new arcade prizes related to Gundam Side F became available. Limited to Namco arcades are the acrylic keychain holders of the new Gundam and Sazabi, and then holographic can badges of the Sazabi, the Haro, and 2 types of the new Gundam. Or you can go to the Gundam Park in Fukuoka to get the same things but with a slightly different design, at least on most of the things. And then yesterday was all about the puzzles. There was a 1,000 piece puzzle released of the 2 main artworks of Witch from Mercury's second season, both of which go for 4,180 yen each, 30 US. And from Premium Bandai, you can get the Sigumi Pro Gundam Ariel for 4,800 yen, 34 US. It's a 3D paper puzzle that gives you a very interesting looking Ariel. And when I first saw the thing, well, when I first saw this Sigumi line of puzzles, I wasn't really sure how I felt about those obvious connections between the parts, but now I feel like they definitely add a certain charm to the figure. As for this week's reading material then, there was the Witch from Mercury Gunpla Beginner's Bible, volume 4 of Mitaina, featuring Witch from Mercury. Koichi Tokita's first personal artworks book was released. The works of Mitsuo Iso for animation will be released in late August and will be up for pre-sale at Comiket. And Witch from Mercury will be getting an Otsukare-sama book and an artwork book on December the 22nd, with pre-orders having gone live on Friday at a variety of Japanese bookstores, all of which will be linked down below. And of course, the book will also be available, well, the books will also be available at P Bandai. On to this week's Gundam apparel then, where Banpresto kicked things off on Tuesday with a Char Aznable or Zeon themed sturdy pouch for 3,685 yen each, 26 US. On Thursday then, we got a new dialogue acrylic stand, this time featuring Bright from episode 36 for 1,782 yen, 13 US. And we also got an interesting set of King of Hearts inspired items. Now, the most famous attacks of Doan are of course the ones that involve his hands. So, they decided to put the King of Hearts logo on working gloves for 1,038 yen, 12 US, so far so understandable, and a cleaning glove for 1,430 yen, 10 US. I think this is a first for Gundam. But yeah, if you want to clean with the strength of the Shining Finger or the God Finger, then this really is the thing for you. And also available from this line is a t-shirt for 3,960 yen, 28 US, because, you need to wear something while cleaning as well. And then finally from Banpresto on Friday, we got a bunch of different items. A Char Zagok t-shirt for 4,070 yen, 29 US. Char Zagok slippers for 3,960 yen, 28 US. Char Zagok face towel for 2,200 yen, 16 US. Super cool standard or Char's Zaku towels for 1,980 yen each, 14 US, and that's not me calling them super cool, that's the actual name. Super cool towel. And then for 3,850 yen or 27 US, you can get a PET bottle holder with a Char's Zaku face, standard Zaku face, Earth Federation emblem, Zeon emblem, or Amuro emblem. And all of these Banpresto items are slated for a September release. Strict G then released a bunch of t-shirts on the 4th and also announced more for the 19th. For the 4th, well, from the 4th, you could get a pocket t-shirt with an emblem of Char, Zeon, Amuro, Anime Electronics, or MAFTI for 3,630 yen each, 26 US, or these two really cool Japanese art-inspired t-shirts for 5,830 yen, which is around 40-45 US, featuring the new Gundam or the Xi Gundam. And then from the 19th, you can get one of those Japanese art-inspired t-shirts with the Ariel, or for 6,600 yen, 55 US-ish, you can get a t-shirt from the Witch from Mercury Room Wear Motif collection, featuring t-shirts based on Suletta, Nika, Nunu, or Ojalo. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.